Stay tuned for the biggest fish, the hottest bites, this week here on In-Depth Outdoors. With James Holst.
Look at that. Wow, is that an incredible fish?
And the rest of the IDO fishing team. We're headed to the best fisheries across the upper Midwest and Canada. We'll fish longer, explore unfished bodies of water, and go further off the beaten path in search of the hottest bites in fresh water. With Pat McSherry.
All right, what a fish.
Andy Fiocco.
Wow. Get the colors on this fish.
And Mike Anselmo.
Man, he's bumping.
This is In-Depth Outdoors.
Good morning, everyone. James Holst here with In-Depth Outdoors, and today is a very big episode for us. Of course, we switch over to ice fishing, and that's what everybody's been waiting for. But behind the scenes, what we're excited about is we get to introduce a lot of new features today. Now, let's back up a little bit. Earlier this summer, we reached out to some of our fans that follow our show on our website at indepthoutdoors.com, and we asked a very simple question. How do we make a good show even better? And to our surprise, we got hundreds, literally, of comments back with recommendations from specific bodies of water to film on, down to pieces of information that people would like to see us introduce into our show. And we listened to every one of them. And as we sat around as a group, the production team and I, what was very clear to us is that people that watch In-Depth Outdoors just wanted more of what we do. They wanted more information, more detail, more access into what goes on behind the scenes before we do these shows. So we listened to that, and here's what we came up with. One of the things we knew we were going to need to do was come up with a studio space that would give us easy access to all the gear, both camera gear and fishing equipment that we use in the course of our show. That's going to allow us to demo a product, provide additional information on the rods, the reels, the tactics, the tackle that we're using. It's all right here at our fingertips. We've put a lot of time and effort into it. We're very excited about what it's going to do for our ability to share even more information, more detail with those that watch our show. So one of the other things that we heard repeatedly was, please do more shows. Well, that's really not practical. Trust me, there's just not enough days in the week to shoot more than one TV show. So what we came up with is a new short video series. We're going to call it IDO Insights. And what we're going to do with that short video series is provide a lot of the detail that everybody's been asking for. How did you rig that rod? What was your approach when you're fishing that piece of structure? That's what this new video series, IDO Insights, is going to be all about. And we plan to bring outside ice anglers into the In-Depth Outdoors studio to participate in these videos. So what you're going to see is access to a lot of the best ice fishing minds here in our studio presenting information. And our plan to start is at least 2 videos a week. Now here's one thing you need to know. These videos, at least to start, are not going to be part of the TV show. There's only one place you can find them, and that is on our YouTube channel at In-Depth Outdoors TV. So make sure you go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, because those videos will start in the coming week. Another feature that we're adding to our TV show is we're going to start to incorporate mapping more. We want to take the time to show anglers how we're using some of the mapping that's available for lakes and rivers across the Midwest and Canada. So we've partnered with Garmin. We're going to use their Lakeview HD Ultra mapping chips. And what we're going to be able to do is demonstrate to people watching our show why we're choosing the locations that we're fishing that day. Now, I'm very excited about this addition because I feel very strongly that one of the things that really sets anglers apart with their ability to consistently catch fish is how well they can read topographical maps. It's taken a number of years for me to get to a place where I can look at a map and really understand with quite a bit of accuracy where I need to be fishing. And that's what we're going to try to communicate to people that watch this show. And if we do it right, hopefully we can take you to the next level where you can be a lot more consistent out there on the ice or in the boat. So one of the last things we're going to try to add to our show with some consistency is when we were talking with people online on our website, we got feedback that said they really wanted to see more interaction with the flasher, with the Markham Digital series. And really what they weren't looking for is to teach them how to use a particular unit. What everybody wanted was, show me how to interpret what my flasher or my digital series unit is showing. So we're hoping that by the end of this season, we're gonna make everybody a lot better at using their flasher or digital series, regardless of model that they use. So with that said, let's talk about today's show. Obviously, we switched over to ice fishing. A little backstory here. 8 days ago, I was out on Mille Lacs catching walleyes in the boat. The day before that, it was 53 degrees. Today, as we sit here in the IDO studios, it is 30 below with the wind chills. So very brutal conditions out there this week, and it made for an incredibly tough bite. So I ended up fishing with Calvin Schweel. He's a long-time IDO pro staffer. We wanted to get out and fish with Calvin right away to kick off the season, and he was one of those brave souls that was willing to get out there and tough it out in some pretty tough conditions. So we headed to McGregor, Minnesota. We got on a small lake because remember, things were open water 8 days ago. So although we've had some incredibly cold conditions, we just haven't had a chance to make much ice. So we actually went in the day prior to filming to scout out this lake just to make sure we were going to be able to get out on the ice sheet safely. And what we found was, despite the cold temperatures, there was only about 3.5 inches of ice, which is, in my opinion, just enough for us to cautiously walk out on a lake of this size. Our target's going to be giant bluegills. And fortunately, what we found was, during our scouting trip, we got into some great fish as the snow fell. Now, unfortunately, on the day that we're going to film, we've got bluebird skies, very cold temperatures, which is going to make for a very tough bite. So stick around. Hopefully we can figure it out here today on In Depth Outdoors.
The lithium laser and lithium chipper from StrikeMaster deliver power on demand with the push of a button and an industry-leading 50-volt lithium-ion battery. Reach for the lithium laser if you need unmatched hole punching speed, or opt for the lithium chipper if you need the durability of chipper blades for opening old holes or drilling in dirty ice. No matter which auger is right for the way you fish, reach for a StrikeMaster Lithium, the electric auger with power to spare. From the first time you pick up a tuned-up custom rod, you'll know you're holding something special. A rod not mass-produced, but built one at a time by the hands of gifted craftsmen. Rods like the Precision, ice fishing's most versatile multi-species rod, or the Precision Noodle with a tip so sensitive you'll never fish a spring bobber again. And the Commander, the rod that's never met a big fish it couldn't best. Tuned-up custom rods. Ice rods handcrafted for you and the way you fish.
This winter, set a trap for your next trophy with iFish Pro. Ideal for all species, iFish Pro is an innovative fishing system that allows an angler to use their favorite rod and reel instead of trying to manage the fish hand over hand.
There's a flag right there.
Complete your ice fishing arsenal with iFish Pro, tactical ice gear that puts the fight back into tip-up fishing.
Look at that.
Find iFish Pro online at ifishpro.com or at your favorite sporting goods retailer.
I got to figure out a cadence. We got to figure out a cadence for these fish. Competition doesn't seem to work, but that's just a really nice fish. And eat it. Come on. There you go. Thank goodness we have a bullwhip for that fish.
Just barely, just saw just the tiniest little tick. Did you get a good one?
Oh, crappie.
Oh.
Disgusted on the crappie.
Well,
which would be a great eater.
We should be catching bluegill that long.
Right. Right. Oh, we will. We'll get there, but
if you're expecting a TV show where we catch bluegill hand over fist, that's not going to be this one. But there's a really good chance that we'll catch a 10.5, 11-inch gill today.
We talked about this a little bit on the drive up. It is first ice, and crappie, sunfish, perch of that caliber, whatever, it still feels pretty good to get that first fish on that tuned-up rod, you know. Here's one.
You going?
Yep.
Got him.
Real.
I gotta stop looking at you.
I don't want to even show this one up here, but
no, mine feels halfway decent. If it's a gill, it doesn't feel like a gill, but it feels like a halfway decent fish. Oh, it's crappie.
Oh, hey.
Hey, what?
We just talked about this a couple minutes ago. changing colors.
Mine was cooler.
Going to pumpkin seed.
What are you? I'm fishing a Tungsten Fly here. We've been through spoons and jigs and flies, and he doesn't want to go.
No.
And these Tungsten Flies are really pretty cool baits. You know, some really savvy panfish anglers in the past have fished wet flies through the ice to catch really, really lethargic, tough bite panfish. And the thing about fishing those wet flies is you had to fish it on a dropper. And one, you didn't have a direct connection to the bait, and two, it's kind of hard to tie that setup. So what we've got here is we've got a fly body with a tungsten bead head, and you fish it just like a regular jig. Now, we've been through spoons and jigs and plastics today, and I think we're at a point now we're going to kind of settle on fishing nothing but that Tungsten Fly going forward, because there's just something about that soft hackle, I think, that just looks pretty darn buggy down there.
Yeah, the cold front conditions, it looks like an easy meal for these fish, and believe me, it's not an aggressive jig with this fly. It's a real subtle movement with the Bullwhips here, just letting that soft tip rod just do its work, and those fish aren't clubbing it
By any means.
They're just holding on to it, and that Bullwhip is definitely detecting the bites. But yeah, I got the pink one on, pink head. So
I've got kind of a brown hackle with a gold bead head. Any trout fisherman anywhere would be probably proud to fish something like
Sure.
that. It looks pretty buggy, but we're tipping it with just a couple of spikes, and we're not setting the world to fire. The conditions we've got right now, they're pretty miserable, and they're getting worse. I mean, the next couple of days, you would think it'd be more like early February than early December. But we're making hay here a little bit. We're piling them up.
cold front conditions, downsize, light jigging strokes, kind of take what we can get at this point. I'm hoping that we get a better school of bigger fish coming in. We're here on the Trophy Lake looking for trophy bluegills.
Right.
Just caught a pumpkin seed and crappie, not what we're looking for,
Not
but
at all.
we'll take it.
Yes, we will.
In-Depth Outdoors, Spot on the Spot ID.
So in today's Spot on the Spot ID, we're taking a look at Garmin's Lakeview Ultra HD mapping here, and I've pulled up a lake that's very similar to the one we fished. And you know, typically when we're out there using mapping like this to decide where we're going to fish, so much of that depends on bottom structure. That's what a map is for. Give you an idea of what lies beneath the ice. Today though, because of the incredible cold front, we actually made kind of an educated decision. In the past, fishing this area, we almost always had our best success fishing in that 13 to 16 foot depth range. I'm gonna turn on some shading here so you can see what that's about. So typically, we'd find those fish just outside the shallows there, 13 to 16 feet. Rarely would we go deeper. Now, during our pre-fishing trip to scout to make sure we had enough ice, we fished those areas just outside the weed line. Had no fish, never marked anything at all. So as we came in the following day, it's even colder, it's windier, we knew we were gonna set up that hub, and we kind of went with kind of an educated guess on what we should do. We ignored that shallower area. I'm gonna turn on some more shading here just to give you an idea. We moved out a little bit deeper, basically towards what would function as the basin, the bottom of the lake. And what we expected to have to do was, instead of looking for active fish cruising that weed line, we were gonna have to pull out into the basin and be forced to fish inactive or neutral fish. Now, we definitely made the right decision. We sat on top of fish all day long, but now coaxing big adult bluegills to bite on a day when they don't want to feed, that is the trick. So you can see today how we used mapping information to completely depart from what we've done in the past based on current conditions. So definitely keep this idea in mind. Sometimes where you choose to put your house depends less on the structure you're fishing and more on the weather pattern, and that was definitely the case today. So stick around after the break. We'll be right back with more early ice action here today on In-Depth Outdoors.
Markham's new pocket-sized handheld underwater cameras, the Recon 5 and 5 Plus, use a 5-inch color display to deliver superior screen detail and employ a combination of dark water LED and infrared lighting to punch through the darkness. The Recon 5 Plus adds a built-in DVR and on-screen display for critical information, previously only available on full-sized underwater viewing systems. This winter, see what you've been missing with a Recon from Markham Technologies, the undisputed leader in underwater cameras.
Everything you'd expect from a premium quality fish house, and so much more. Glacier combines superior craftsmanship and premium quality materials to produce a comfortable and enjoyable mobile base camp for your next outdoor adventure. Available in a variety of models, a Glacier Ice House offers more standard features, more usable space, and a better fit and finish than the competition. Visit our website at glaciericehouse.com to find a dealer near you and see why a Glacier Fish House is the ultimate way to play.
At Okuma, we're in it for the long haul. That's why we make the longest-lasting, most rugged trailers on the road. Flatbeds, bike haulers, tilt trailers, and enclosed. If you have a lot to move, we've got your way to move it. Our lightweight aluminum trailers will handle even your heaviest loads. At Okuma, we are right behind you with an industry-leading 5-year warranty. Because every trip and every load is valued.
This winter, set a trap for your next trophy with iFish Pro. Ideal for all species, iFish Pro is an innovative fishing system that allows an angler to use their favorite rod and reel instead of trying to manage the fish hand over hand. Complete your ice fishing arsenal with iFish Pro, tactical ice gear that puts the fight back into tip-up fishing.
Look at that.
Find iFish Pro online at ifishpro.com or at your favorite sporting goods retailer.
What is it going to be, buddy? What's it going to be?
Yeah, it feels like an okay one.
Well, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that one gets up top here. Including continuing to fish. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Heck yeah. Not bad for a farm pond, even better for public water in Minnesota.
That obnoxious jigging stroke kind of worked a little bit, but you know, finally, all kidding aside, that obnoxious jigging stroke didn't really work. It was more of the finesse,
Right.
bouncing up and down, but you know, right into the face, that Tungsten Fly, but just barely hooked.
Yeah.
So important to keep that tension on that fish. That's a nice bluegill. I don't care where you go, anywhere you go.
There's double. There's a double. My double's gonna be about half the size of yours. I'm like,
let
well,
mine go right away.
maybe all right. I mean, he's no stud like the one you just had there, but what was that? Okay, I can do that. Have you ever caught one of these out here?
No, we were talking about that on the on the truck on the way up here. That's, you know.
Any bass out here?
No.
I don't know. Well, there's at least one. Let him go.
Pumpkin seed crappies, doubles. Nice.
Sometimes my questions get answered in mysterious ways.
You know, I guess all these fish are traveling together. Maybe they're just all, you know, obviously these big sunfish are, you know, don't really have a lot for predators out here. They're probably the bigger predator, you know.
I can't imagine a bass that could eat, you know, one of these 10, 11-inch bluegills. It would take a pretty big bucket mouth.
Or even a giant pike.
Yeah, I wouldn't assume that the pike would spend a lot of time trying to eat a 10-inch bluegill. Maybe a tullibee would make a better meal, or a sucker. I believe this is what you call it, a grinded out day. And you know, as people sit there and watch the show, not the best bite we've ever been on. Had some nice fish, some variety. If you take anything home from watching the show here today, there's just a couple things, where we selected to put the hub house. Obviously a hub house is just not as mobile as we're used to fishing. You know, we could go up shallow, try to find those fish in 13 foot of water early and late in the day, and then what do? You know, for the 80% of the time,
right,
you know, that remains. So really what we're doing here is we're out over some deeper water, adjacent to that, you know, ring of shallow shoreline weeds where these fish would actively feed. And the fish that we're on right now, they're very inactive. But what we're doing, because of the high pressure system, this incredible cold front, we're kind of playing the odds. We know that we're going to be able to encounter more fish using a strategy like this. And then you can see what we're doing here as far as baits. 3-pound test line, Suffix Ice Magic, those small little tungsten flies, definitely a finesse presentation, and combine that with a jig stroke that basically just kind of looks like a tremble. And that's what it's taking to put these fish on the ice.
When we went and searched for where to set up the hub here, we drilled quite a few holes, and every hole that we went to had fish in it. Now, we get to a new setup like this and we got active fish right away. then these fish just get instantly, and not instantly, but in a very short time, get disinterested in our tungsten flies. And it's a very slow process for fish to move in, which is obviously evident of the lethargic mode with the high pressure system and the bright skies and everything like that. But it's definitely a grind it out, turn on the heater, sit in the hub house, have good conversation with your buddy, and it's still
Catch some fish.
Trophy fish below you. So we've got a couple. Maybe we can get a couple more yet.
There he is. Let's feel some weight there, boys. Come on. Get heavy. Yeah, you got it, but you ain't all that. Thank you. Just another one of those funny looking speckled ones. Not quite what I had in mind. Oh. We usually don't catch that many crappies here.
No.
I mean, if I was gonna take a crappie home, that's about the right size, but that's not why I drove here. I want bluegills that big. Bye.
Fickle crappies.
Is right. No crappie that size should ever be that hard to catch. That's just the cold front talking. We've got some bad bluegill mojo going on right now. There he is. Not the world beater we're looking for, Kelvin. Crappie.
Is that why?
Yeah. Normally, I wouldn't poo-poo catching crappie as much as I'm going to right now. I'm looking for bluegill that are that long. I appreciate him nonetheless. Even the crappie in this lake are picky.
Came in and ate it though right away.
Mm-hmm. But he came in a little higher. I just brought the jig up underneath him and he ate it.
Markham Technologies unleashes GPS with the release of the RT9, the first to combine sonar, underwater camera, and navionics mapping in a 9-inch ruggedized touchscreen tablet. Built on the Android operating system, the Wi-Fi-enabled RT9 can be used as a standalone tablet or snap into the cradle or performance pack for unmatched portability. Ice electronics the way they were meant to be. Sonar, GPS, underwater camera, one unit. Experience the RT9 from Markham Technologies. Markham's new pocket-sized handheld underwater cameras, the Recon 5 and 5 Plus, use a 5-inch color display to deliver superior screen detail and employ a combination of dark water LED and infrared lighting to punch through the darkness. The Recon 5 Plus adds a built-in DVR and on-screen display for critical information, previously only available on full-sized underwater viewing systems. This winter, see what you've been missing with a Recon from Markham Technologies, the undisputed leader in underwater cameras.
That looks like a good one.
It's coming up pretty aggressively.
Boy, is he on me. There he is.
I heard a little drag on that one.
I probably got a little overzealous with the hook set, but he looked like a heck of a nice mark. Oh,
there we go.
Step in the right direction.
Hey.
That's not even a giant for this body of water. That's, I'm not going to say average. I'd say he's an average plus. But that is nowhere near what this lake can produce, and that's why I dragged a heavy sled and a hub house through the woods. I need to add about another 1.5 inches to that fish, and then I can go home absolutely satisfied, but that is a step in the right direction.
Nice fish.
It was a stare down, is what it was. Nice.
Maybe all these fish that we're fishing, because the water's so tainted here, we can't really see with the camera. We can't see with the camera to understand really what they are, but.
All right, I'm gonna let him go.
Nice fish.
Tungsten fly. I've got a pile of lures and spoons and jigs I've tried, but that has been the deal today.
And a not so aggressive jig stroke. I've been watching you.
I'm really good at holding still. That's about all I'm doing.
You'd be a good deer hunter.
Hello.
There's one.
Is it the deal?
No. Oh, we got some head shakes, but I'm just doing my job, just getting these little ones out of your way for you. Seed again.
You're hired.
Pumpkin seeds.
That's a nice seed.
Yeah, hybrid. Nice fish. Pretty colors on these fish. We just made a little bit of a move.
Yes, we did.
You know, the fish that we were on this morning, I think they got used to our flies, and these fish are not roaming like we thought they were roaming over this basin. They are flat out hunkered down, just like any frontal fish would be. What'd you make, 3 drills in every hole that I checked right behind you? There was fish right behind it, and once again we stopped at the most concentrated group of fish.
We chose the area that we're fishing right now pretty thoughtfully. We knew that we could catch active fish, or most likely would be able to find active fish up on the edge of this deeper pocket of water. There's some sparse weeds, 11, 12, 13 feet, that kind of ring the edge of this deeper water. And we figured that bite window in the morning would be very short. So instead of trying to get on that bite window up shallow for actively feeding fish, we've actually come off the edge here into deeper water, where we're sitting on fish that probably aren't in an active feeding mode. And well, I can about guarantee you they're not. They pool out here in this deeper water midday. So really what we're doing is we're coaxing fish repeatedly that probably aren't that interested in feeding, in the hopes that we can trick a couple of them into taking a taste. That's all it takes. Well, that kind of sums up our day, doesn't it? Fizzle, pop.
Propane's gone. It's pretty cold out. You can see your breath already.
Full thermal, but I don't think it's going to hold heat for very long.
Tough day.
Who was it that said 2 propane cylinders was going to be enough?
That'd be you.
Yeah, might have overestimated a little bit.
You know, in your defense, I think the first one we put on only had about half or 3/4 full at the most.
Sure, but it was my propane tank, so I guess it all comes back on me anyway. Well, for everybody watching, this has not been one of our most successful days on the ice. We knew it was going to be tough. These conditions, horrible cold front. I've never actually fished in such a huge temperature swing over the course of just a few days. To go from open water to iced up, walking on 4 inches and 30 below wind chill temps. So it's as much of a huge adjustment for me, I'm sure, as it is for the fish. So my guess is until we see a little bit of a warm stretch, fishing's going to be a little tough, and I don't care who you are. We did. What happened?
Listening to you.
We definitely put together what we thought was going to be a workable game plan for today. You know, every once in a while, even we strike out. So thanks for watching. We hope you're excited about some of the new features that we introduced today throughout the course of the show. And I'll all but guarantee that next week we put on a lot better show. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
For more info on the latest fish reports, gear recommendations, and hottest techniques, connect with us online at indepthoutdoors.com or follow us on Facebook at In Depth Outdoors. And if you enjoyed today's show, be sure to let our sponsors know.